This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat. The participants are Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and S. Rangabhashyam, AIR correspondent.
Today, the entire nation heard the Prime Minister in the 97th episode of the radio program Mann Ki Baat. And as far as this year is concerned, 2023, this is the first edition of Mann Ki Baat. The Prime Minister drew our attention to a number of issues and aspects, among them about India being the mother of democracy and the spirit of democracy flowing in every part of the country. He also highlighted the importance of millets, and all the more reason because since this year, the year 2023, is being observed as the year of millets internationally, and apart from that, trademarks and patents being filed by India in huge numbers. Let me begin with democracy. The entire world has always acknowledged India as being a real democracy in all its sense. But not only in these modern times, but even centuries ago, India had that tradition, isn't it? And democracy had been a way of life for Indians.
Certainly, in this context, the Prime Minister today said when we are discussing our Republic Day during the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, he came across an interesting book. A very interesting subject has been discussed in this book. The name of the book is India, the Mother of Democracy. And it has many excellent essays. So India is the largest democracy in the world, no doubt about it. And we Indians are also proud of the fact that our country is also the mother of democracy. Democracy is in our veins. It is in our culture. It has been an integral part of our work for centuries. So by nature, we are a democratic society. And then he quoted Dr. Ambedkar. He had compared the Buddhist monks' union to the Indian Parliament, and he described it as an institution where there are many rules for motions, resolutions, quorum, the voting, and the continuing vote. So Baba Sahib believed that Lord Buddha must have got inspiration from the political system of that time, and that is democracy. So in that context, he again talked about a very famous village in Tamil Nadu, and when there is an inscription of 1100 to 1200 years ago, and that surprises the whole world because the rock edict is like a mini constitution. It has been explained in detail how the Gram Sabha should be conducted and what the procedure for selection of its members shall be. Another example which he gave of democratic values in the history of our country is the Anubhav Mandapam of Lord Baseswaram of the 12th century. And he said that free debate and discussions were encouraged. And he said you would be surprised to know that it is even before the Magna Carta of the UK. See, the republican traditions of the Indian dynasties from one another. So the Bhakti movement also furthered the culture of democracy in Western India. He went on to discuss this detail, but then he said, after reading this book, he said that you will feel how the spirit of democracy has been flowing in every part of the country for centuries. So as the mother of democracy reminded the nation, we should constantly think deeply about the topic, discuss it, and also inform the world. And this will further strengthen the spirit of democracy in our country. So why I think it's a major takeaway of today's Mann Ki Baat is because a very minuscule section of the people are trying to tell the world about democracy in this country as if democracy is threatened. So he has given that democracy is part of our culture. So how could democracy be derailed? Democracy has taken very deep roots, and this is why people elect a government or throw the government out. That is also essence of our democracy. So it was a very interesting subject which the Prime Minister discussed today.
But Mr. Tandon, don't you think it's a befitting reply to all the critics, not only within the country, but even outsiders, especially, people who are trying to portray that there are issues with democracy and there are problems. So this is a befitting reply to all those people, isn't it?
Yes, but there are elements even abroad. There are people who do try to such kind of misunderstanding. And I will be very frank to say that this looks like a part of a wider conspiracy to defame India, especially under the dynamic leadership of Prime Minister, because he has put India on the world map. He is now one of the top-ranked ranking global leaders, and the government which he has provided for 2 successive terms. Obviously some people may not be happy about it. So that's why this campaign of vilification. But today's exercise puts at rest that it's not this government or any other government or even post-independence. Democracy has been in our vein, in our culture, in our tradition, centuries and centuries ago.
Mr. Tandon, let's also talk about the inclusion of millets in official programs, official dinner and lunches of the government. Today he highlighted the importance of millets as far as health is concerned. And he also, drew a comparison with yoga. He said that both of them are equally important and contribute towards our health.
Certainly, he said that there is a lot common between yoga and our different types of coarse grains, millets. And then both have a lot in common. And in fact, the United Nations has taken the decision of both International Yoga Day and the International Year of the Millet after India's proposal. And yoga is also related to health. So millet is also related to health. It's playing a very important role in our health. And the third thing is, more important, a revolution is on the way because of public participation in both these campaigns. Just as people have made yoga and fitness as part of their lives by taking active participation on a large scale, similarly, people are now adopting millet on a very large scale, and they are making millet a part of their diet. A huge impact of this change is all visible, particularly among the youth. So on the one hand, small farmers who traditionally used to produce millets are very excited because they produce will naturally fetch them more money. They are very happy. The world has now started understanding the importance of millet. And the entrepreneurs have also started effort, market millets and make them available. And he gave the example of Chhattisgarh, where in Raigad, millet cafes are there. Items like chilla, dosa, momos are becoming very popular in the millet cafe, which started a few months back. So I think it was also, especially because India is now having the presidency of G20. So during this period, millet is now being popularized during all the engagements and the functions and events related to G20. Millet is now on the upswing all over the world.
But Mr. Tandon, this calls for behavioral change, especially among our youngsters. So it would need a continued push, a continued effort and awareness creation so that in the next couple of months it becomes a way of life and people adopt millets as part of their food habit.
Certainly, because we all talk about entrepreneurs, but we have never heard of milletpreneurs. So Odisha, he gave the example. Recently, like a self-help group of women, about 1,500 women of the tribal district of Sundargarh. Now, they are associated with the Odisha Millet Mission. These women are making everything from millet. The cookies, rasgulla, gulab jamun, and even cakes. And due to their great demand in the market, the income of women is also going up. So, millet farmer producer companies are all up in a big way. The Indian Institute of Millet Research in Karnataka, people are liking the khakra, biscuit, laddus, etc. And in Karnataka's Bidar district, women associated with the Ulsoor Millet Producer Company are cultivating millets as well as are preparing their flour from. Through this, their earnings have also increased a lot. Farmers from 12 states have joined the FPO of Chhattisgarh. So this way, as I said, the G20 summit events are being held actually in different parts of the country, and the dishes which are being served now include like bajra khichdi, poha, kheer and roti, as well as ragi-based payasam, puri and dosa. So these are so mouth-watering dishes which are now being served, and even health drinks are being made from millet. So this shows that millet exhibition at all G20 venues are being organized. Indian missions are also making a lot of effort to increase their popularity. Imagine that this effort of the country and the increasing demand for millet in the world is going to give strength to our small. It gives joy to me, the Prime Minister said, to see that the variety of new things that have started being made from millet today is being liked equally the younger generation. And he congratulated, in fact, all the listeners of the Mann Ki Baat also for such a wonderful start of the internet and for relentlessly taking it forward. I think there can't be a better message in popularizing millet than what the Prime Minister said today in this Mann Ki Baat.
The Prime Minister also made a mention of the Purple Fest, which was held in Goa in the first week of January, and as he said that this was a unique effort for the welfare of Divyangs. And in making this particular mention itself, the bare mention of this fact that this fest was held in Goa, where even the Miramar beach has become more accessible. So it is an initiative in the direction of making all our public spaces barrier-free and accessible to people who are differently abled.
Yes, but while talking about this fest, the Prime Minister particularly mentioned the participation of the private sector in it. See, the products which are Divyang friendly are now being showcased on their behalf. Many efforts have been made in this festival to raise awareness about the welfare of the Divyang and for making Purple Fest a success. And he congratulated all the people who participated in it. And along with this, he also congratulated those volunteers who came together to work day and night to organize this. And he said he has full faith that such campaigns will prove to be very effective in realizing our vision of accessible India. So this festival certainly resumed very significance because it was held in Panaji, and it no doubt was a unique effort in itself for the welfare of the Divyang. He said from the fact that more than 50,000 brothers and sisters participated in it. And the people who came here were thrilled that they could now enjoy the beach. And this beach has now become one of the accessible beaches in Goa. And then there were so many events organized, along with the cricket tournament, table tennis tournament, marathon competition. A deaf-blind convention was also organized here. So apart from that, the unique bird-watching program, a film was also shown here. So it was something which the Prime Minister shared with his listeners of the Mann Ki Baat today.
Mr. Tandon, the entire world has been grappling with the problem of e-waste for the last couple of years, if not almost 1.5 to 2 decades. But this has now assumed enormous proportions, and this particular aspect was highlighted by the Prime Minister today.
Of course, the Prime Minister was very particular about it, and he said devices like mobile phone, laptops, tablets, all become a common way of life in our household. But the numbers are now in billions across the country. The latest devices are also future e-waste. So whenever someone buys a new device or replaces it one old device, it becomes necessary to keep in mind whether it is discarded properly or not. So e-waste is not disposed of properly, it can also harm our environment. So therefore, if done very carefully, it can become a great source in circular economy or recycle or reuse. So therefore, the United Nations report says that 50 million tons of e-waste is being thrown every year. And even if the weight of all the commercial planes that have been built in the history of mankind is combined, it will not equal the amount of e-waste being released. It's like every second, 800 laptops are being thrown away, and 17 types of precious metals can be extracted from the e-waste through different processes. And these include gold, silver, copper, nickel. So utilizing e-waste is no less than making kachre ko kanchan. That is how Prime Minister put it. So there is no dearth of startups that are doing innovative work in this direction. At present, about 500 e-waste recyclers are associated with this sector, and many new entrepreneurs are also being associated with. So this sector is also giving a direct employment to thousands of people. Particularly, then he mentioned about how and where this work is being done, particularly in Mumbai. Then recycling of Roorkee, Uttarakhand has also obtained many patents in this field. So it is very important and crucial sector in which everybody has to contribute. So all these are helping to make India a global recycling hub. But there is also an essential condition for the success of this initiative. That is, people have to be made aware about safe, useful methods of disposal. Those working in the field of e-waste say that at present only 15 to 17% e-waste is being recycled everywhere. That means a lot more needs to be done in this sector.
That's right. On that note, let's wind up this discussion. Mr. Ashok Tandon, thank you so much for joining us on this program.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat. The participants were Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and S. Rangabhashyam, AIR correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.